Hello my friends, I'm back and I'm going to be upgrading my PC a little bit more today. So I got some new parts and they're right here. Little contact frame and a Montech Silver Sentry 1050 watt power supply. Now I know what you're thinking. Bro, didn't you say last episode that your PSU was enough? 150 watt power supply, but I do believe, lucky for me, I have the included wire. So technically, I should be able to survive with it. And yes, the 750 watt is enough to upgrade and to run my beautiful 4080 PC.
Help me!
Oh, and yes, I did end up installing the SAG bracket because I paid for the whole PC and the GPU, so I'm going to use everything that came in the package. Was it necessary? Probably not, but I paid for it, so I'm going to use it. So I ended up installing the SAG bracket anyways. Plus, it's good preventative maintenance. My GPU won't sag, which gives me peace of mind knowing that I'm not going to destroy something this expensive and hopefully it doesn't fall out the slot. But I sidetrack. This is the power supply I bought. A nice little Montech Silver Sentry 1050 watt and a contact frame. Both of these came from Amazon, and they took a little longer than expected to arrive, so that's why the video is a little late. But they're here. They came in about 2 days ago, and I'm going to be installing them today. Obviously, the screwdrivers for taking off the AIO, as you can see, has 4 screws. So let's get into taking this apart and putting in my new power supply, and obviously my contact frame. And oh boy, am I looking forward to taking off that 24 pin. That's gonna be so fun.
I'm about to end this man's whole career.
So yeah, obviously to take this off we gotta take out the 24 pin right there and the EPS cables, which are buried behind the AIO. These are obviously gonna suck to take out, but maybe I should do my contact frame first. So let's see how this goes. I've seen some debates online about the best means to spread thermal paste. Before any of you crash out, when I installed my AIO the first time, I got a vetroo's own little tube of thermal paste and a spatula. So I'm going to be using the spatula. And let's get this bad boy out. I've never opened the processor again after this, so I'm a little nervous about doing it. Hopefully I don't drop anything, but let's get this AIO pump off and let's go from there. Love putting in parts. I probably just unscrewed that wrong. Definitely unscrewed that wrong. Let's see. Maybe I should take these all up. There's one. Hopefully I didn't just warp it. But yeah, everything else here. There's the third one. Probably didn't need to do that, but hey. Oh man, did I mean that shit. Alright, so here's the thermal paste application. Just using a little spatula. I actually got pretty good coverage, so I'm not complaining. But I'm going to clean this off just because I don't want to reuse old thermal paste. And we're going to get the contact frame installed. You can see all my stand-ups and everything. I built this. I have to say I built this PC pretty well. I'm not like a noob, but I'm definitely an amateur at this point. So I'm going to get this cleaned up and see you guys in a bit. Thermal paste is on. It's probably on a little thick, but the Thermalright paste was absolutely terrible to work with. Super freaking gloopy and thick. Wouldn't go on easily. And I tightened this down in the crisscross pattern. Hopefully you saw it on that camera over there. But now I'm going to put the pump back on. Hopefully the thermal paste spreads out. I'm probably going to clean up the edges a little bit just because it doesn't look that nice. And yeah, we're going to get all of this situated and figured out. And hopefully after this I can put in my power supply. But I didn't even take out the CPU, so I don't think anything should be different. Alright, so my AIO pump cover is back on. As you can see, I did tighten it in a crisscross pattern. Torqued it down a little bit, each side by each side. So now I gotta take out all the beautiful power supply wires. And the ones I'm most nervous about are the EPS cables way up there because my radiator is blocking them. And I really don't want to take out my radiator, but if it comes down to it, I may have to. I don't even think there's enough space in there for me to reach your fingers, so I guess the radiator has to come off, which is gonna suck. But hopefully, maybe I can just take off the fan, but I think that's even more unlikely. But I'm gonna try to take those off and see you guys in a bit. So I did manage to get them off without having to take out the radiator. So I'm guessing getting them back in is probably going to be a lot easier since I don't have to plug it in until I just fish the wire around the back and then plug it in, obviously. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to plug the wires in on this side first and then route everything to the back. That way I can just plug it into the power supply without having to take out as much stuff. I personally find that easier. Your mileage may vary. Maybe my brain is freaking weak. But right now I have to get out 24 pin, and while I'm here I'm going to unplug this one. Just a clip for it. Clip for it is at the bottom, which always makes this a little bit more troubling, but I'll see you guys in a bit. What the Definitely not putting that on my bed. Alrighty, so the old power supply has been taken out, as you can see, from this absolute shell of a PC case. A little bit of dust in there. My never-ending quest for dust. But here it is. Not that many connections needed. I guess I don't have a lot of peripherals and stuff. Only about 8 of them or so, I guess. But yes, got everything I need. It out. So, time to rewire everything with this one right here. And Montech makes pretty. This is a Cybernetics Platinum and Gold rated one. So, there it is. Obviously, I don't really care about right side down or right side up. This goes under my desk, so it doesn't really matter. But I am going to need to get all of the new cables out of here, plug them into the motherboard, route them back, obviously, and we're going to go from there. But obviously I need to replace the power cord. Mine is down here, somewhere in that rat's nest over there. These are Astro A50s, I don't really use them because I have a pair up there. But I'm going to unplug the power supply cable from there, and I'm going to continue on with this power supply replacement. all the new wires are plugged in. You can see 600 watt right there. There's actually significantly more than my last one, 24 pin right there. And the two EPS connectors, which gave me the most trouble. But everything is kind of routed back to the back. Even the little SATA connection for the PWM hub, many of you saw on the back of my case, is plugged in. So I'm going to hook up the power supply. And we're going to hook up everything, cable manage, and then, obviously, turn on my PC. So see you guys in a bit. Alright, power supply is screwed in, as you can see. Everything is in. I have it off, obviously. When I plug it in, I don't want to send like that much power through. Everything has been cable managed. Obviously, this connector is going to be sticking out. I really hate it, but I don't want to cut it off. Cable managed everything the best I can. You can see, trying to get it. The weird thing is the SATA cable is like super long. So, I'm just going to tuck it in here and hope for the best. There's a little bit of space, so I'm not really worried. And it does fit pretty well within the confines of the case. You can see there's a bit of space. So now I just got to close everything up and plug everything back in and turn on the PC and hope it works. Alright, everything has been cable managed and sealed. This wire was a little bit annoying, the one to the GPU, because it was like a little like satellite wire. You can kind of see it. There's like this tiny wire kind of off the big one right there that kept, it was a lot looser than the other one for some reason, so I ended up just zip tying it and fixing it. I don't think you can see it because the zip tie is hidden underneath the fan shroud way in there. You can kind of see it like right there. But yes, everything has been put back together. Made a bit of a mess of my room. Yippee! But for the most part, everything is clean. Obviously, I'm going to be selling this old 750 watt just because it doesn't really have any purpose to me anymore. Everything plugged back in, turn this on, make sure this works. Hopefully I did not screw in the contact frame too tight and my RAM doesn't work anymore, because that would suck. Because I paid money for 64 gigs of RAM and I'm going to use all 64 gigs of RAM. But let's plug everything back in and make sure this works. Obviously, I'm gonna have to change out this, plug it into there, but yeah, I'm gonna, do all the other good stuff. And obviously, turn this on. But right now it's on zero fan mode, smart fan mode. It's on that, so it doesn't kick out too much heat because it's like 95 degrees in California, and having a literal nuclear reactor in my room does not make it any better. It's really hot right now. There's like a heat advisory today. It's like 103 in some places. So it's like 90 today where I live. So yeah. A new power supply that probably doesn't get stressed out as much by a 4080 definitely helps. I suspect this was kicking out a lot of heat. So maybe that's why my room was so hot. But then again, a 12900K and a 4080 also kick out a lot of heat. So alright, computer's back on. Everything's working. And of course, all my RAM is noticed, so I'm guessing that's a good thing. Or I guess most of it. Yeah, okay, there we go. 7 or 8 out of 63 gigs. So I guess that means my computer is working. So yeah.